Hello, you are with me, the voice of ability and for persons with disability. United Nations statistics estimate that over 600 million people live with disability globally, and over 400 million people live with disability in Africa. 40% of Africa's population are made up of people living with disability. 10 to 15% of school-age children in Africa live with disability. Ghana's population is over 32 million, and 8% are people living with disability. How does this impact on persons with disability in terms of policy formulation, marriage and family life, education, healthcare, employment, and so on? For those of us in the disability community, discrimination and stigmatization is the root cause of almost every challenge we face. However, success only comes to those who know how to overcome their challenges and not those who know how to avoid challenges. So join me, the voice of ability and for persons with disability, as I navigate my way through the riveting stories, the unbelievable experiences, and the life-transforming journeys of persons with disability on the Helping Hand TV show.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in loving memory of our beloved and dear mother, Mrs. Christina Ananswa Hackman, the H4P Organization brings you a free medical screening exercise for special needs children and caregivers as part of activities to celebrate her 1-year anniversary with your host, the CEO of the H4P Organization, Bishop Dr. Charles Kofi Hackman. This event is in partnership with Kingdom Legacy Institute, a subsidiary of Charles Hackman Ministries, Acts in Africa, Fire City Chapel, Mana Mission Incorporated, and DV Unlimited Company Limited. There will be general consultation, dental screening and cleaning, ENT, etc. And it's happening on Wednesday, 13 September at Tete Oklu State School for the Deaf at 8 a.m. sharp. You can join in live on Facebook and YouTube. For further inquiries, call H4P on +233 209 555 777 or +233 277 552 208. Our dear and beloved mother, Mrs. Christina Ananswa Hackman, you are forever in our hearts.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of the Helping Hand TV show, where we throw the spotlight on the abilities of persons with disability. And like I say, you are welcome. Welcome to my world where disability is not inability. Special thanks to DV Unlimited Company Limited and Fire City Chapel, my proud sponsors. Special thanks to you for tuning in to the program as always. Well, H4P is 12 years old. To God be the glory. And we thank God for how far He's going to take us after 12 years. Today we have an interesting episode. I have a very, very interesting guest, a very special guest, my very good friend. I won't mention his name now. I'll go for a break. When I come back, I'll introduce you to my guest. It's a Helping Hand TV show. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are with me, the voice of ability on air for persons with disability. And today I want to introduce you to someone with so much ability. Some people call her the greatest friend. Others call her the sweet companion. And others still call her the faithful worker. She is dependable, reliable, and adorable. And she's committed to lending you a helping hand anytime, anywhere. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome DV Cleaners.
DV Cleaners Alata Samana Shower Gels, DV Cleaners Aloe Vera Shower Gels, DV Cleaners Body Lotions, DV Cleaners Hair Shampoos, DV Cleaners Hair Conditioners, DV Cleaners Liquid Detergents, DV Cleaners Hand Wash, DV Cleaners Floor Cleaners, DV Cleaners Toilet Cleaners, DV Cleaners Cake Soaps, and now introducing DV Cleaners Hand Sanitizers. For bulk purchase, call us on +233 278 308 246 or +233 244 467 326. DV Cleaners, one of the top most made in Ghana products. DV Cleaners, proudly Ghanaian.
And so remember that anytime you purchase any of the DV Cleaners range of products, you are lending a helping hand to a person with disability, and you are supporting H4P Organization's special advocacy for persons with disability. DV Cleaners.
Nature's finest touch.
Welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to the Helping Hand TV show with me, the voice of ability and for persons with disability. This is the special edition. H4P is 12 years old, and I have a very, very special friend coming all the way from Zambia. His name is Duncan Nkoma. He's going to help us dissect the issues on mental health. Duncan, you are welcome.
Thank you so very much, Bishop. Thank you.
It's so good to have you, and we are going to discuss a subject that most people don't talk about. So I'm very, very glad that I have you to help us educate our viewers on mental health. Let me start straight away. In your opinion, what is mental health?
Okay, so in my opinion, mental health is basically brain health. This is where somebody is able to cope with their daily activities. They are able to make right choices, able to make right decisions. So that's basically what mental health is.
So looking at what mental health is, why is a subject like mental health important?
According to the World Health Organization, they define that for a person to be healthy, that person needs to have their mental health has to be okay.
Yeah.
Also, their physical health has to be okay, as well as their social well-being. So, mental health is very important, such that if a person has to be healthy, that person needs to have a mental health as well.
Amazing. We want to zero in on the situation in Zambia. You were part of a discussion that raised a very important question, and I'm going to ask you that question. Why is mental health not prioritized in Zambia?
Okay, so mental health is not being prioritized. But actually, for now, I would say we are trying to give it more attention, and we are grateful that the government is coming on board, so many stakeholders, but then there is more that has to be done, especially when it comes to mental health. So with mental health, it's different with physical health. For physical health, you are able to tell when somebody is not feeling too well. You are able to tell that this person needs medical attention. But then with mental health, it's hard to tell. So basically, most people, they do not give it so much attention because there is a lot of stigma that is attached to it. For example, if somebody is saying I feel suicidal, people just think like it's just attention seeking, because they don't actually know what is going on in the mind of that person. So basically, that's why mental health isn't given that much attention.
So with the kind of efforts people like you are putting in and the advocacy that you are doing, how far have we gone, especially in Zambia? How has the journey been like?
So far, so good. We are seeing a lot of mental health advocates coming on board. We are also seeing a lot of mental health activists coming on board, and the government, they are also coming on board. They are trying to give it more attention. The president keeps talking about mental health, different stakeholders. But then the challenge we're having so far is lack of mental health awareness towards people. So most people, they actually do not understand what mental health is. I feel the most important thing is we need to raise a demand. We need more people need to start visiting mental health clinics, hospitals, to seek for these mental health services. I feel in that way, when that is going to call upon the government to see that there's so much demand. So the challenge we're having is most people do not understand. They don't know what mental health is. So and as advocates, we are trying to do the best that we can to reach out in both the urban areas as well as rural areas.
Let me find out. We are into media work. We advocate as journalists. In Zambia, how is the media reacting to issues about mental health? Are they pushing it? Are they promoting it?
Oh, yes. The media, they are trying to do their best. And so far, what we are also trying to do is want to involve the media so that we can get to educate them on issues to do with mental health.
Okay.
Because, for example, we are seeing the media, they are spreading the wrong information when it comes to issues to do with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if somebody has died due to the act of suicide, that person dies, you don't need to post the poisonous substance that person used, or maybe just to talk about the method that person used.
Yeah.
So those are the things that we are trying to come on board and just educate the media that you need to protect people, even their privacy.
Yeah.
So the media, they are doing their best as well, and there's more that has to be done.
It's good to know that at least something is going on in that regard. I'll go for a quick break. When I come back, we are going to pick up the issue on some specific examples of mental health abuse, how people are struggling with mental health, maybe some stories you've heard and all that you can share with us. But I'll go for a quick break. We'll be right back. There's a Helping Hand TV show. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Success is a product of hard and wise work. Is 60-second success with the Bishop. Stay tuned.
Welcome to 6-Second Success with the Bishop, where I give you success nuggets for a successful life. If you really want to succeed, you must understand the components of success. Success has many components: courage, patience, determination, kindness, love, and many more. But in my opinion, the most important component of success is failure. Most people think that the opposite of success is failure. I don't think so. However, the hard truth is that failure is an integral part of success. Real success is when you move from one failure to another until you learn how to do things differently and better. If you encounter failure in any part of your life and you don't give up, but you press on, that failure becomes an asset that teaches you a valuable lesson on how to do better. To be successful, you must not be afraid to fail, because failure is not the opposite of success, but failure is part of success. It has taken 60 seconds for me to give you this success tip, but it will take more than 60 seconds for you to put it to work in your life. So start your journey to success now.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back to the Helping Hand TV show with me, the voice of ability and for persons with disability. I have my very good friend Duncan in Coma, all the way from Zambia, helping us to understand the nitty-gritties about mental health. Duncan, thank you so much for your time.
Welcome. Thank you, Bishop.
Let's look at some practical instances that we can identify mental health issues. You are the advocate, you are the one on ground. I'm sure you've heard a lot of stories. Some might be tragic, some might be success stories, but share with us, give us a sense of what it is like when it comes to mental health before we even come to your story.
All right. So we just like I mentioned earlier that we do have so many people that are struggling when it comes to mental health, because most people, they do not know where to go to seek for medical attention when they are in that point where they are mentally ill. And there's just a lot of stigma that is attached towards mental health. So then the biggest challenges that most young people are facing, especially in Zambia, and I would relate them to Africa at large.
Yeah.
Is, for example, families have also contributed towards these high cases of suicide, high cases of mental illnesses, because our families, they are the first line of defense. But then without not understanding what mental health is. You find that we have so many people that are struggling mentally throughout the world. For example, it is their responsibility of families to, I would say parents per se, to tell their children how special they are, how loved they are. You know, because young people, every time when they go to school, they are being bullied by friends. They are being called all kind of names. So if you find that, for example, in my case, I come from a broken home. So if you find that you are coming from a place where there is no that kind of love, when you go to the society is saying so much about you, then it's like you have nowhere to go to seek for peace.
This is interesting because this whole thing about mental health is a very, very sensitive issue. Let's zero in on your story, Duncan. You started having migraine headache at 6 years old. Can you walk me through your story?
Thank you, Bishop. I started having migraine headaches at the age of 6. The migraine headaches were very, very painful, such that every time they start, I could cry. All I could do was just to cry. We went to the hospital. The doctors told me that the migraine had no medication, like it had no cure. So the only thing they could do, whenever I go to the hospital, I would be injected so that maybe I sleep, or maybe I just feel no pain, because it was something that was very painful. And for 12 years, it affected me such that it could come like twice in a week. Due to the migraine headache.
Was it being triggered by something you were eating or an environmental something? What was the cause?
This is something that I have failed to understand up to now, because they just started when I was very young. I was being sent back. I remember I was being sent back home from school that I'm not feeling too well almost all the time. My mom can testify to how I struggled with the migraine headaches. My mom took me to different places for, especially different hospitals for trying to seek for medication, but nothing worked out for me. So it was so hard for me. Every time I go to school, I would be sent back home that I'm not feeling too well. And I was able to tell that the migraine is starting now. The hospital was just like my home. I was ever at the hospital. My teachers knew me. I was just a young boy. And due to the migraine headache, I developed sores all over my lips. I had sores all over my lips. Pus and blood could come out of my lips. Imagine that happened for over so many years. I do have some scars on my lips where I'm so grateful to God, because I am much better now and I'm healed. I'm okay. But it was a lot happened to me at that moment of because I was told that there is no medication. There is nothing that can work out for me. So I struggled like that with the migraine headache for over 12 years.
Wow. And Duncan, the interesting thing is that you were a grown-up child and you have all these challenges. You are feeling the pain, but the reactions you are having, definitely your friends and your colleagues in school will not understand. And how was their reaction?
So their reaction was, there's also that a certain stigma that is attached to people like who are, because, for example, I was the only person in class who could all the time say I'm not feeling too well. At some point, it just became like a habit. People just started looking at me and say, it's like the teachers and everybody was just used that I'm just that one person that always goes back at home that I'm not feeling too well. So my friends, they could mock me, for example, because of my lips, which blood and pus could come out. I was rejected by most people, and my friends could mock me. They could say I drink alcohol. They could call me all kind of names. But then for me, that was kind of like my disability, because it's something that it was not to my desire. It's something that something that I did not apply for, but I just found myself that I struggled with the migraine headache and I had sores all over my lips. So most people would reject me, they would make fun of me. I grew up as a shy person. I had so much low self-esteem. I never loved myself. I would look at other people and say, I wish I was that person, not me as Duncan. I admired other people because I hated myself so much. These are times where even if a teacher asked a question in class, I was not able to answer because my friends would definitely laugh at me. There were moments where I would say I am going to school, but then I'll not even go to school. I'll just go and play video games. I'll just be in a video room where I'm watching movies because I'm scared of what people would say about me and how people would look at me. I also, I used to walk facing downwards. I never used to walk upright, like as a man should walk with. I never had confidence. So I wished that I was, my mom tried everything they could to try to do anything they could to see that my lips were better, but nothing. The more we kept on trying, the more the situation kept on going worse and worse.
So, Duncan, do you have other siblings?
Yes, I do.
How did they react to the condition you were going through?
So, my siblings, it was especially for my siblings, they kind of like understood my situation. For them, it was okay. They had received me, but then not the world out there. For my family, they loved me, they supported me, especially my mom that tried to do anything she can to see that. But then I grew up I come from a background where we believe so much in God as a family, and I was told that for me to get better, I need to do some tattoos on my skin, But then my mom took me to Sunday school when I was very young. I started Sunday school when I was just a very young boy. So my mom believed so much in God. So for her, she only concentrated in going to hospitals, clinics. So for her, I actually also told God myself that I am not going to try anything in my life, but I'm just going to wait upon you. You know what you are doing in my life.
Amazing. I'm going to go for a break. When we come back, you're going to pick up the story as to how this thing affected Duncan so much. It's a Helping Hand TV show. We'll be right back. I know you're enjoying the story, but hold on. We'll go for a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
It's the music segment on the Helping Hand TV show.
Your holy name, Lord, we bow down and worship you. Awesome God, how great thou and mighty are your miracles. We stand in awe of your holy name. Lord, we bow and worship you. And Lord, we bow down and worship you, 'cause there's nobody like you. Lord, we bow and worship you. Yes, we do. Lord, we bow down and worship. We worship the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Lord, we bow down and worship you. We cast our crowns before you, King of glory. We bow down and worship. Yes, you are the great I am, the God of all possibilities. We bow and worship you. Yes, we worship you. Yes, we do. We worship you.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back to the Helping Hand TV show. My very, very special guest, Duncan, in Koma, all the way from Zambia, is sharing his life with us. He's sharing what he has had to go through with us. Duncan, with what you are describing, definitely the kind of pressure you'll be going through from the society, from your friends and all that, it will get to you. According to your story, it pushed you so much that you began having suicidal thoughts and you actually carried it out at age 16. Tell me what happened.
Right. So like I said, I had all those migraines at the age of 6. And as I was growing up, there was just so much that I had to struggle with in my life. I struggled with the migraine headaches, all the been affecting me like twice a week, and I was very down in school. I was being sent back home all the time, and also coming from a broken home where my mom and dad separated when I was a baby. That kind of like affected my life such that I also grew up as a nomad, trying to move to this place, you go to this place, and so on. So my life was affected like that. I felt like nobody loves me, nobody cares about me, because every time I go to school, I'm being bullied, I'm being mocked, I'm being, I felt the world would be a better place if I didn't exist. So I became suicidal at the age of 10. I started having suicidal thoughts. And the more I kept on going through tough challenges in my life, the more difficult moments, the more the thoughts were becoming more bigger and stronger. So at the age of 10, I had ideation, there are 3 stages of suicide: ideation, suicide intent, and a suicide plan.
Okay.
So I had ideation, which is those are thoughts. Intent, those are now where the thoughts have become more bigger and stronger. Then a suicide plan is where now I developed a plan. I said, okay, this is how I'm going to end my life. Wow. So at the time where I had suicide intent, I was if you tell me that this road, you can't use this road because there are criminals that would kill you, I would use the same road. I never I never loved myself. I never cared for myself. I remember that time I would even just stand up and just go to the road, hoping that a vehicle would bash me. I never cared. I just ignored my life. I completely didn't care about my life. I said, I just, there is no me. There is, why should I continue to live? Until the thoughts were like that, until now I had a plan. I said, okay, this is how I'm going to end my life. I'm one person that has denounced God in my life. I have shouted at God before. I have told him that he does not exist. He's not a fair God. I've called him all kind of names because it was hard, being that in the point where I was at that point where I never saw that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I never thought like there was anything good that might come out of me, because I was very down in school. The doctors told me that I might go blind because the migraine headache also affected my eyes. Every time that my eyes would be affected. So I was told, so I never saw any hope for the future. And the society rejected me. So where am I going to go? I didn't think. I said to myself that there is no reason for living. I feel the world is going to be a better place if I just leave the world.
So that is what brought you to the actual attempt at suicide?
Definitely. So the actual attempt, I remember I struggled so much with the migraine headache, and I was just crying. I was sent back home from school. That was I was in grade 8. When I was going home, I was crying all over. By then, the thoughts I'd already started making some plans on how I'm going to end my life. Wow. And when I reached home, I just closed the door and I locked up myself. I showed all the signs of suicide. This is why I am so very much interested in advocating, especially families that are going to be listening to me out there. Yeah. Please, you need to know all the signs. I had withdrawn myself, from people. I could talk about suicide. I could write about killing myself. I could show all those signs that anyone would see that this person, but then because by then mental health wasn't talked about that much, so even my family members couldn't even know that I was thinking of committing suicide.
I noticed you were trying to point out some of the signs that you can use to see when somebody is walking on the path towards suicide. I noted you talked about isolation. The person begins to isolate themselves, they withdraw and all that. Yeah. Are there other signs that you can share with us so that the public will be alert?
Okay. The other signs are talking much about dying to suicide. So in Zambia, by the way, we don't say commit suicide because suicide is not a crime here.
I see.
So I'm sorry that I've said commit suicide, but then some of the signs are somebody talking about dying to suicide. Okay. Those are the signs. So if you are with a person and that person is saying something like, I feel there is nothing to live for anymore. That person is basically saying it's better to die. It's better to just end my life. So all those are kind of some of the signs that we need to look at. Somebody who has posted on their social media platforms, on their statuses saying on such a day, this person saying themselves there will be no more. It's a sign you need to take it so serious. It's not that person is seeking for attention. Most especially, I had to withdraw myself from people so much. Like I had withdrawn myself. So those are the signs. You find somebody just locks up themselves in their rooms. You need to question what is going on, and also you find somebody has written a will. For example, elderly people, all of a sudden they are writing a will, they are preparing things. You need to question like what's going on, what's happening, all these preparations, so all those are signs. And loss of appetite as well. Somebody doesn't want to eat. Someone keeps on saying goodbye. Yeah, so those are all signs of suicide.
Wow, amazing. The interesting one for me is the loss of appetite. I didn't know that that could also be.
Definitely. So that is linked to depression. Yeah. So people that are depressed, you find that they lose appetite. For some, you find that there's also maybe an eating disorder where people are eating a lot. Yeah,
Okay.
but then loss of appetite is one of the symptoms of depression.
So Duncan, let's shift the discussion a bit. How do you prevent such things? How would you help somebody who has suicidal thoughts, somebody who has a mental health problem and is exhibiting these signs? You are a counselor. How can the society help? How can families help such a person?
Okay, thank you, Bishop. So the most important thing is to know the signs that I just talked about. If you know the signs, then you are able to help. So then you also need to know, where can I refer this person to? Where can I take this person? I've been posting about these things on my social media. I've got day 1, day 2. So I just started talking about mental health, like from the basics of mental health. Okay. So what mental health is when physical health, when you are sick, you go and visit a doctor. You go maybe to a hospital, a clinic. So with mental health, it's also the same, like it's like that as well. So mental health, this is issues to do with the brain. So we also have got doctors that just works on the brains. We have got psychologists, we have got psychiatrists, we have got therapists, we have got psychosocial counselors. You just get to talk to them. You know, I was so shocked to know that there is also medicine for a mental illness. So just just like you go to the hospital to get yourself checked up, it's also possible to just go to the hospital and just go and get yourself checked up for mental health. But then how the society can be able to help is when the society recognize the signs of depression, anxiety. For example, when we talk about depression, we're talking about constant sadness for a long period of time. This person loses appetite, low moods. You do not even do those activities that you used to do anymore. Then that person, for a long time, then you develop depression. You know, so there's a difference between sadness and depression. For sadness, you can be sad for a short period of time. It's okay to be sad. But then if now that sadness goes for a long time, then it comes to depression. Then anxiety is constant worrying. You are worried for a long period of time. It's okay to be worried. You can be worried for a short period of time. It's okay not to be okay. But then if it goes over and over, you are worried, then it becomes to anxiety. So once you understand these things, you understand the symptoms, you are able to help. So first thing first, if you know that there's somebody struggling with depression, anxiety, please make sure that take that person to, let them visit a psychologist, let them visit a psychosocial counselor, a psychiatrist. Then those are the doctors, the people that are in charge of helping people that are struggling with a mental illness. But then we also as people are very much responsible to help people as well, because we are the first line of defense. So you know, I wrote in my book, I said a problem shared is a problem solved. So we need to be there for each other as well. So we need to understand that we can be able to refer a person to psychologists, then they can be able to help. But then if you notice that there's somebody that is maybe that person wants to die through the act of suicide, what you can do is make sure that you do not leave that person alone. Be with that person. Yes, be with that person. Encourage that person. some of the things that you need to understand is you do not need to be judgmental. You don't need to start scaring somebody that wants to die, to die to suicide, say, no, why are you wanting to die? Why do you want to leave food alone? Food, you don't start being judgmental. All you have to do is to say, oh, I understand how you feel. Yeah. It's okay not to be okay. And it's okay, I'm here for you. I'll support you. Please make that person feel they are not alone, and make sure that you do not leave their side, because if you leave their side, they might maybe take some sharp objects around and so on. So support them by making sure that I don't know the number that people can call there in Ghana, but in Zambia you call 9333. Then you'll be responded to, and quickly rush that person to the hospital. Just like we said, suicide is an emergency. Suicide is an emergency. Just like we have an emergency in physical health, we also have got an emergency in mental health. So suicide is an emergency. Quickly rush that person to the hospital, and psychologists, psychiatrists will be able to attend to that person. Then you have helped the person.
Thank you so much, Duncan. For Ghana here, you can always contact the H4P organization, and we are always willing to help. Anytime you call, there'll be somebody on call to help you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in loving memory of our beloved and dear mother, Mrs. Christina Ananswa Hackman, the H4P organization brings you a free medical screening exercise for special needs children and caregivers as part of activities to celebrate her 1-year anniversary with your host, the CEO of the H4P organization, Bishop Dr. Charles Kofi Hackman. This event is in partnership with Kingdom Legacy Institute, a subsidiary of Charles Hackman Ministries, Acts in Africa, Fair City Chapel, Manna Mission Incorporated, and DV Unlimited Company Limited. There will be general consultation, dental screening and cleaning, ENT, etc. And it's happening on Wednesday, 13 September at Tete Oklu State School for the Deaf at 8 a.m. sharp. You can join in live on Facebook and YouTube. For further inquiries, call H4P on +233 209 555 777 or +233 277 552 208. Our dear and beloved mother, Mrs. Christina Ananswa Hackman, you are forever in our hearts.
Well, thank you so much for being with me, the voice of ability and for persons with disability on the Helping Hand TV show. This is all time would allow us, and so we have to draw the curtains here. But I promise to bring you the continuation of this very, very interesting discussion with my very good friend Duncan Nkoma, all the way from Lusaka, Zambia. Thank you so much to DV Unlimited Company Limited. Thank you to Fire City Chapel, my proud sponsors. Thank you to you for always staying tuned in. A special thanks to those who contribute to H4P through the mobile money system. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. This has been the Helping Hand TV show with me, the voice of ability and for persons with disability. I'll come your way again, same time next week. Until then, remember, disability is not inability. Take good care of yourselves. God richly bless you and stay safe.